You know something, you bitch? I think this just my masterpiece.
When I started it years ago, started writing it years ago, I had a different storyline. And the reason I couldn't really finish it years ago was because that storyline was just too big. It just wasn't a movie. It could have been a 12-hour miniseries, but it wasn't a movie. And I remember thinking, yeah, what? I'm too big for movies, you know, and so I put it away. And so when I came back to it and I really wanted to actually make it a movie, I realized what I would have to do is come up with a new story. I'd come up with all the characters, and I came up with the idea of the bastards themselves. And that's where I came up with the idea of the German soldier Frederick Zoller, who had killed all these people and was a huge hero in Germany, and they make a movie about his life, and the bastard's job is to blow up the premiere of that movie.
Don't know why I came here tonight. I got the feeling that something ain't right. I'm so scared in case I fall off my chair, and I'm wondering how I'll get down the stairs. Clowns to the left of me, jokers to the right. Here I am, stuck in the middle with you. Yes, I'm stuck in the middle with you. And I'm wondering what it is I should do.
Well, the idea in Pulp Fiction was the idea of taking the I wouldn't say film noir, but the pulp genre, all right, that was represented in the case of magazines like Black Mask, where you had Raymond Chandler or Dashiell Hammett writing them. And so I thought the idea in the case of Pulp Fiction that would be kind of cool is to take 3 separate stories and make them be the oldest stories in the book, you know, whether it be Vincent's character, the hoodlum, has to go out with the boss's lady, but don't touch her. And there's a whole history of people who have touched her and what happens. Well, we've seen that before, a zillion times.
I promise I won't laugh.
That's what I'm afraid of, Vince.
That's not what I meant. You know it.
Well, now I'm definitely not going to tell you because it's been built up too much.
What a jip.
In the case of the Bruce Willis story, that's the boxer supposed to throw the fight and he doesn't, and now the mob's after him. We've seen that story a million times before. And one of the things I thought about, like the third story, was basically kind of the beginning of at the time of almost every Joel Silver movie, which would start off with like a couple of hitmen showing up, boom boom. All right, you want to witness something? Witness this. And they shoot the guy, and then it cuts to Arnold Schwarzenegger walking through the forest, and eventually he's going to meet those guys. And so I thought, well, what happens if we hung out with them all night long, all night long, all day long, all right, after they've killed the guy? What happens to the rest of their day? And so it was the idea of taking these chestnuts and putting them together, and then actually having the characters kind of intertwine, and it all kind of takes place in one city, and it's an environment that they all live in, and characters kind of know each other, but you don't know that for a while, and it was just kind of like hanging out with them for those 2 days.
The least enjoyable of all of my shoots because it was just a tremendous amount of pressure. I mean, if you want an idea of how something like that works, is say you have 3 days to do a scene. And you know, you do your best. You try to get it done in 3 days. But say you're a little long. Say you have a little bit of an overlap. And so what you do is then you roll over to the next day and try to finish it at least by lunch. And then so you finish it by lunch, and then you take a bunch of other stuff that you can do and make up your day for the rest of the day. Now, you know, that's a very comfortable way of working. But the opposite is what we were doing, which was basically, you know, you have, you know, say again, same scenario, 3 days. I have 3 days to do it. No, there is no mañana. All right, it is. I have to. I won't make my schedule if I keep rolling it over. So even though we might go late on that third day, we're going to finish it, unless it literally is just a situation that I'm making this horrible artistic compromise that's going to ruin the movie. Short of that, we are going to get done on those 3 days. Now, when you finish that, and maybe on the drive home that night, I can feel some sort of satisfaction of being able to do it. But not much, because I'm right back at that same situation again the very next day, and the very next day after that, and the week after that, and during the whole damn shoot. So it's, you know, it's a lot of pressure.
10 hot!
My name is Lieutenant Aldo Rain, and I'm putting together a special team, and I need me 8 soldiers. 8 Jewish American soldiers. Now, y'all might have heard rumors about the Armada happening soon. Well, we'll be leaving a little earlier. We're gonna be dropped into France dressed as civilians. And once we're in enemy territory, as a bushwhacking guerrilla army, we're gonna be doing one thing, and one thing only. Killing Nazis. And the German will be sickened by us. And the German will talk about us. And the German will fear us. Each and every man under my command owes me 100 Nazi scalps. And I want my scalps. And all y'all will get me 100 Nazi scalps, taken from the heads of 100 dead Nazis. Or you will die trying. 9999999.
It's not that the whole movie isn't about redemption, but redemption does keep working itself into the movie. And most of the characters in the movie are given choices to make, and they make the choices that they make, and they pay the price or the consequences, or they live to tell the tale because of those choices. And we actually see it happen all 3 different times in the movie. And but it's funny though, if you just take that for what it is. If you just look at the case of John Travolta and Sam Jackson, it would suggest, well, okay, Sam Jackson made the good choice, made the right choice, and thus he prospers, and John Travolta pays no attention to it, and thus we know he dies. But you have to think about Bruce Willis's choice that happens in this movie, because he actually makes 2 choices. One, he makes a choice to do a very unhonorable thing. You know, he actually makes the deal with Marcellus Wallace to throw the fight. He doesn't have to. Marcellus doesn't say, throw the fight or you're dead. He makes it for money, and he takes the money and he screws Marcellus with it. But he actually ends up living to tell the tale, right? Because he actually does make a moral choice later when he goes back to save Marcellus. But he's still starting from a very bad place, and he actually ends up prospering, you know, for it. But again, he does make a, you know, he does make a moral choice that he doesn't have to. But if he had left, but I'm just thinking about it now. If he had left the pawn shop and just let Marcellus be buggered, if he just left that, you know, would he still get out of town? You know, with Fabian, would he still make it to Tennessee? Would he still have all the money and everything like that? Now he'd be looking over his shoulder. Now, right now, he's not looking over his shoulder because he did the moral thing. He actually got away with it.
All of a sudden, in walks a chick in Mexico. Just starts playing on a Latin chick in Mexico. Around her waist, she wore 3 fishnets in Mexico. She started dancing with the castanets in Mexico. I didn't know just what to expect in Mexico. She threw her arms
In the course of my story, my characters change the course of the war. Now, that didn't happen because my characters didn't exist. But if they had have existed, everything that happens is fairly plausible. 99999!
Oh, yes, 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 yes!
If there had been a Frederick Zoller who did what he did at that time in the war, I'm sure Goebbels would have made a movie about it.
Joe,
And if Frederick Zoller looked like Daniel Bruhl and was as charming, then he could have been cast as the lead, and then they could very well have had a big premiere, and so on and so on and so on.
Hey! Yeah, come to the Star State, señorita. Hey, come with me, Mexico City. Ah, you can get your kicks in Mexico. Crazy. Come with me.
Did I even see that? Did that even happen?